bottom of the sea.
It's the Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast.
Hello and welcome to this week's Solar One Sci-Fi Podcast. And somebody's letting the side down this week, but we won't go into that. And this is episode 123. And so the person over there who watched Lobster Men, whose knowledge of technical matters is far beyond mine.
Yeah.
And I did love the Planet of the Apes.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Superbo. Want to talk about that?
Okay.
Very impressed.
Good. I'm glad you saw
Very
it.
impressed. And was told to watch 5 episodes, but only managed one. But we've forgiven him. My co-host, my mentor, my friend, the Dark Force from... Where are you now?
Portsmouth.
I thought you'd left there.
No, I'm still stuck here, but in a nicer part of Portsmouth.
In the lesser, darker reaches of Portsmouth, I present to you Goldclud, aka Michael Ball. And
Thank you. Hello, and thank you for a lovely intro. My intro last week was shite, so your intro this week was much better than mine. So thank you. And of course, I should just say, Martin Fowler has a fantastic channel on YouTube called By the Gods of Science Fiction, where he throws all such interesting stuff. This is how I got to know Martin. I made it quite a few years ago now. I could say it's been a few years now.
It's a year 3 now.
I know, it's scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, Martin, nice to get back with you today. You're apparently not too well. You all right? Apparently you got a bit of the flu.
I've got flu.
Okay.
I'm all right. I'm slowly coming out of it.
Your voice is more husky. It's a bit more kind of like masculine. It's kind of like you could
really?
You sound.
Is it like a man voice?
It sounds like you could be sort of like doing an advert for a flash new car or something.
Oh, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? I did a TV presenting course a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And she said to me, Martin, you've got potential. She said I could see you on QVC.
That's it. Oh, brilliant.
Fucking
QVC. Oh, well, that's it. That's what to aspire to. That's it.
You mean that's QVC.
Oh, yeah, QVC. I told you.
Selling fridges.
Oh, do you know what? Those shows are the most soul-destroying things I've ever seen. I mean, I don't watch much live TV, but they're normally on like channel like 803 or something, and they come on this absolute shite, and they're going to talk about this crap for 10 minutes per thing, and then all you got to do is text this or get this number and give us a call, and it's absolute crud.
Don't you remember
terrible.
When there were loads of them? There were like
there used to be more.
Big TV.
Yeah.
They used to get all public bidding on an iron. And they used to get them phoning in. Oh, and they'd have this like really out there presenter going, you bought the iron
over
and the kettle, and how's it going with the iron? And they're really excited about it.
Yeah. I used to listen to Kevin Greening on Radio 1, and he had a segment called QVT, which was quite variable tat. And it used to be a spoof of QVC, and very funny sort of segments they used to have.
Is that still going?
No, Kevin Greening's dead. He died. I'm a big fan of Kevin Greening.
No, QVT.
I don't know about QVT. I don't know about QVC. I assume it's somebody's watching it. I don't know, because I don't really watch live TV. I have no idea.
Well, I don't know.
Live TV. The only thing is that's on live TV, which is Doctor Who. Which I've actually heard. I don't know if you heard this news today, although it's it's a sort of news segment. We could just go with it sort of randomly. But apparently, season 14, it's going to have a Christmas special. But
this Christmas?
No, next year. We're going to get nothing this Christmas at all. Apparently,
we're getting nothing at all.
Nothing until November next year, right?
Right.
And then next year we're going to get a Christmas special. Then apparently, season 14. I don't know if that's inclusive of this Christmas special. It probably isn't. It's only going to be an 8-episode season or series. Just to be 8 episodes for the whole series, which is the shortest. So I thought that if Russell T Davies is coming back, the episodes will be getting a bit longer again, especially with the Disney Plus input financially. Yeah. So I don't think that sounds too good. But
I've got a film challenge for you.
Oh, okay, go on. I like a film.
Well, it's sort of. Well, I don't know what it is really, because Do you remember Burt Lancaster,
Mhm.
the actor?
Yeah, Burt Lancaster.
He did a film called The Swimmer.
Okay, not heard of it.
Well, it's I don't want to spoil it for you because everybody that watches this film don't know what the fuck it's about. Right? No, I really
you want me to
do
see
want
this,
you
do you?
to. No, I bought it. I actually got a copy. I found it. I had to
Okay.
pay out for it actually,
Right.
because it's quite hard to get hold of. But I got it, and the film is completely, utterly pointless, but it's fascinating.
Why is it
It's about a
without
guy.
giving? Go on. What is it about?
Well, it's about a guy that turns up in your back garden in his trunks, and he swims in everybody's swimming pool on his way home, and meets people.
And that's the gist of
And
the
there's
story.
loads of artistic visual shots.
All right. So
It's called The Swimmer, and I challenge you to watch this.
All right,
I challenge you to watch this. I do. Yeah, if you were brave enough to take on the Lobster Men. you can
oh
watch
bloody
this.
hell, the Lobster Men. Oh my god. All right. Okay. I mean, if it's that interesting, is it podcastable? Is there a segment we could do for a future show? Is that what you're saying? Or is it just
It's a
something?
fascinating. Nobody knows. They've reviewed this film. Loads of experts. They don't know where it fits.
All right, the swimmer. I'll look it up on. IMDb.
This film is how you interpret this journey of this man in his trunks heading home. But that's all I'm going to tell you.
I tell you another series I want to review with you at some point as well,
Go
which
on.
is Black Mirror.
Yeah, I'm up for. I'd like
Black
to do
Mirror
the
is
McAllister
really
episode.
good. I've only seen. I don't think I've seen all of them, but I love all the actual episodes. There's some really great concepts, not only about AI and stuff like that. And I think we can have a good conversation about that. So
the
that's
woman
one.
that gets put in a prison, she's only in there for like a minute, but she thinks she's been in there for 1,000 years.
Well, Deep Space Nine.
Virtual prison.
Deep Space Nine did that with O'Brien. I'll let you have a cough. Sorry, Martin. Don't worry, that's fine. And they also did it with an episode of The Outer Limits with
they did.
David Hyde Pierce from Frasier. He did it.
Yep.
So it's not a new concept, but I like that concept.
Have you seen the McAllister episode?
I don't remember
The Star Trek one.
Oh yes! Oh, that's a classic.
I'd like to cover that just on its own.
That episode is my favourite episode because
it
for me.
So I think we should, before we break Black Mirror, I think we should cover that and then enter the series.
Yeah, I don't think it's strong enough for its own. I think we should do a podcast.
I think it is. I think it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe. Yeah, okay, I could do that. I mean, I'll have to think about it. I know it's dark, but I always have to think about doing the graphics. Yeah, okay, let me have a look at it. I'll see maybe.
And we are going to have to do a Christmas video special as well.
Oh, what an intro!
Well, like just wishing everybody. Merry
We'll
Christmas,
do that. We'll have to do. Last year we did Space 1999, really funny intro, which I was quite pleased with. So this year, we'll have to think of something. I don't know what we could do though. Because Space 1999 was so clever because it was all those little flashes of.
It was easy to sort of get round that one.
Yeah, and that's why it worked out quite well. So.
What about the X-Files?
Maybe. Do you know what? The only thing that puts me off doing that again is the sound. If you have the sound,
because you're gonna get
it always just gonna get blocked, and that's the problem. I'm really up for it, but after Space 1999 last year, it's really. You can't do it with different music.
It was annoying that.
Because it really was quite funny, and I was really pleased with it. But it was blocked all over the place.
Well, we'll just do something boring and go. We wish you a Merry Christmas, and that's it.
I'm sure we could do something. Yeah. All right. I'll have to think of. I don't know. We'll think about that later on. So, shall we talk about our focus of the week? Are you ready for that? Or you know,
of course, I'm ready. Yeah, I've been waiting for this all day.
Oh
even though I sat through all of For All Mankind when it had to be done in season 1, and how can you watch this, Martin? And
For All Mankind. No, I mean, look, Andor.
You did get me into it. You did, but I did watch it in a weekend.
It's funny. I watched The Mandalorian again this week, and I should have been watching.
And you should have been watching.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't. And I just thought this series is so Star Wars. It's so solid. And then I thought of Cyril.
Yeah,
Cyril, the security guy. And I thought, how can it be the same franchise. It was just ridiculous. Anyway, let's go into the focus of the week. This is an interesting one. Here we go.
It's the
Solar Sci-Fi.
focus of the week.
All right, so Martin and I will talk about doing some more Irwin Allen shows. We have done the Time Tunnel, which was really quite one of our early ones.
Oh, yeah, classic series.
It was episode 11, I think, if I'm looking at the poster up there. So it was a really early one. Did they also do the original, what's it, Lost in Space? Was that an Irwin Allen one as well?
Yeah, Lost in Space.
Was that? I know they did the Time Tunnel.
Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Time Tunnel and Land of the
Land
Giants.
They're the four, wasn't
And
it?
there were two awful pilot episodes he did, which
Okay.
are on YouTube. City Beneath the Sea.
Okay.
I bet you've seen that.
I've
And
heard of it.
He did one with the dude from Time Tunnel.
Oh,
No,
not
the man from the 25th century.
what? Not the actor that plays Vic Fontaine. The other one.
No, the Vic Fontaine did.
Oh, it is James
it's
Darren.
on,
James
yeah.
Darren.
Yeah,
James
James
Darren.
Darren, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but it never took off. He comes to Earth to help us
Okay.
from the future, and he wears the yellow gold suit, and it's really bad.
All right. Well, anyway, this is a series that, in many ways, was it done before Star Trek, or because, again, it felt a bit like Star Trek but in the sea. It had a.
I think it
similar
might
premise.
have been. I think wasn't Voyage the first series?
I think it might have beaten Star Trek by a couple of years. I'll have a look at it as we
yeah,
talk
but there
about
was
it.
the film. There was the film.
Yeah,
Voyage
you're
to
right.
the
Sorry, that's right. There was a film version.
That was Morpheus, the actor, Morpheus, the actor from Forbidden Planet. He played Admiral Nelson.
That's right.
And the other actor, I Dream of Jeannie, were in it as well.
Well, let's quickly ask about the film before we go into the series.
I think that was before Star Trek, the film. It's
So,
black
what
and
did
white.
you? Again, this is I'm rusty with these ones. What did you think of the original movie, which inspired the TV series?
Well, the original movie's really good. I thought it was super. I love the scene of the Sea-View coming out of the ocean at the beginning. You know, when it comes up like that.
Was
Even
it
though I
was it the same design? I think, or was it slightly redesigned?
Yeah, I think the windows were different.
The windows were more
They
sort of
started
squarer,
off,
weren't they?
They had 2 floors of windows.
That's right. It's different
And then
windows. But the shape
somewhere
was
in
the same.
TV series, they moved it to 2 windows. But in stock footage, you kept seeing the other sea view.
Oh, I didn't notice that there. Yeah, that's a good point.
You know,
actually.
I noticed it after I'd seen it 1,000 times. Like,
Yeah, this is
you know,
interesting.
yeah, and you know, because the sets are all the same from Lost in Space to.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Land of the
like
Giants. It's all the same set pieces, you know.
I always like series when they're inspired by the original. Of course, Stargate did it with the SG-1, and that's one of my favorite all-time series ever.
Yep.
Even though I quite like it. I mean, that's a series I know so much better than Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. So, of course, the original Bottom of the Sea was made in 1961. I'm looking up the information
Yeah,
here.
way before Star Trek,
Yeah, Walter Pigeon, Peter Lure,
That's it.
Barbara
Yep,
Eden,
Walter Pigeon.
Joan Fontaine, and Michael and Sarah was it as well?
Yeah, Peter Lorre as well.
And that was, I think, that's a quite well-regarded sort of movie, and of course,
It was a big hit at the cinema,
Yeah.
and then suddenly a couple of years later we got that.
and so the TV series was started in 1964. So as we both worked out,
Yes.
it was just before the Star Trek original series.
Yeah.
And it was. I look at the information. So it was obviously based on the 1961 film with the same name. Both were created by Irwin Allen, so he did the original movie as well.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Which enabled the film sets, costumes,
Tower
special
of
effects.
Inferno as well.
Yeah.
I think he
special
did
effects.
Poseidon Adventure first one. I think.
I like the Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah, I
Models
know.
and
I
sometimes
like that. I like that. No, I don't.
sometimes
I like Tower of Inferno.
yeah, I like all those
Yeah, I
sort
do.
of like disaster
70s
movies.
sort of, yeah.
So that was started in 1964. It ran for 4 seasons, and it was a decade's longest running American television series with continuing characters, with 110 episodes produced,
Yeah,
including
yeah.
32 shot in black and white and 78 filmed in color. The first 2 seasons took place in the then future of the 1970s. The final 2 seasons took place in the 1980s. Okay, so there was a bit of a gap between those 2 seasons.
There
by the
is,
looks of it.
I have to say, there is some continuation. There's like canon.
Was it linked with the movie? Is that what you're saying?
no, I don't think. But there is an episode where they replicated the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh, that sounds.
The-
I really want to see more
It's
of
the
this.
same
actually.
story, but condensed into an hour.
Oh, okay, yeah, they've done that before. People say that the Rise of Skywalker, not the Rise of Sky, the first of the sequel Star Wars movies was in many ways a remake of A New Hope. So,
Well, it
yeah,
won't. Well, it won't. Well, it
yeah.
would have blazed
So
their
what I'm
path,
saying
wouldn't
is, yeah. So not we're going to start going on about that. Although I brought it up, but it's interesting. So I mean, you said how you thought that the first couple of seasons were quite sort of good standard sci-fi ideas or good characters
Right.
and good. What happened? Because you
Right,
said
in
it
the
changed.
early 60s, Erwin Allen took science fiction. This is
Took it
what's
seriously.
weird, right? The first series, The Lost in Space, is quite serious.
Right.
Right, Dr. Smith, he's really evil and nasty. He's out to screw them all over.
Right.
And then second season come, they got into colour, and then it became the Dr. Smith robot Will Smith show.
Right.
And it got outrageous every week.
That's
It
what
just-
put me off. I've got put off.
Yeah,
by
well,
that
that's what
series.
put me off.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why
Now,
that's why I haven't got a
Voice-
copy of it now.
Voyage at Bottom at Sea, the first season was black and white. It were them going on secret missions.
Right. That's the ones I've seen.
in-
Yeah, the
in
early
this
ones it was.
super
Yeah.
submarine keeping
Yes.
world peace.
Yeah.
They take out a secret weapon somewhere or some baddies. And I think there's about 2 alien episodes in the first season. And they were very mature stories. They were very good.
Like
In
a
the
sort of
first
Star
season-
Trek sort of like original series.
Yeah,
sort of,
you were going that way.
Yeah.
There's one, Robert Duvall, but this is like his first.
Yeah, you
acting
mentioned
job.
him. Yeah, Robert Duvall, who's a great.
And this is why I should have got the episode name. You would have enjoyed this.
Yeah, I wish I'd
They
seen
find there's an earthquake and they find an abandoned city on at the ocean bottom.
it. Right.
And there's loads of tubes, and they bring one aboard, and they find an
Actually,
entity
I remember
within
this.
the tube. You probably
I
don't.
actually do remember this now. You're saying
Right.
it's coming back to me now.
And they existed. They owned our planet a million years
Yes,
before us.
that's it. That's it.
And they were more advanced. And so this guy, he looked at us and thought we were all a bit primitive. And it ends up his blood is like a deadly virus to us. And he's gonna
Infect
kill
the world.
everybody
Yeah,
on
that's
the
it.
planet
Yeah,
and then
that's it. Yeah.
resurrect his people. But Nelson sets him up and puts oxygen into the room and blows him up in this
That's
room.
it. Yeah.
But it's like he's got no choice. He's got to do it.
It's got the it's like
and
necessity
then
to
he
save the world.
nukes.
Yeah, that's
It
it.
torpedoes this
Great story.
abandoned
Great
city.
idea. Yeah, that's a good story.
Yeah. And there's one with an alien that crashes on Earth in a saucer and everybody's trying to attack it. But the alien's peaceful. But the alien says, if you attack me, my race will come here and wipe your planet out.
That's it.
And there's like a mature thing about it all. And
That's the strange thing. That's the strange thing.
and then season 2 came. And my God, it I don't know what happened.
Is it
It
the
were
same?
Alien of the Week or Monster of the Week.
Is
Giant
it the
plant
same
beast.
as like Space 1999? The first season is considered very,
Sort
very
of,
high.
yeah.
And then season
started
2 it
off
completely
very well and
changed.
mature.
And then season 2 completely
Yeah,
changed.
it became insane. I mean, it were plant monsters and crew couldn't handle all this weird shit were going on every week. And time travelers in spandex silver suit with disco lights on
Yeah,
and all this, all these aliens and all these things.
just
wanted to take
mess,
over.
just to,
They
yeah,
all focused on the bloody submarine.
yeah.
Every week, there were. I mean, there's one fucking weird episode like with puppets.
Okay.
With puppets, and they're all teleporting around you. They're like puppet versions at crew. And
Oh.
Vincent Price is like, he's with them. And then there's the plant people where this guy, he makes out he's a gardener, but he's got a box of soldiers, of plant soldiers, and they're going to grow loads of plants on submarine and spread them around worlds and time travelers. And it got really, and then there were a leprechaun had turned up and they had to stop the leprechaun because his evil brother were going to destroy the world because he wanted his gold.
Well,
and then we got the Lobster Men.
So I was going to say the Lobster Man. I think that was season
The Lobster
4.
Man, yeah.
I think it was season 4. I think it's one of the later
yeah.
ones. So you're saying then from season 2 onwards until the end, it was when it really started to have some really daft ideas. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, look, the concept of Seaview is pretty cool. It's a beautiful submarine.
Yeah, lovely design.
I think it's better looking than Sequest. I mean,
that was my next question because there is a parallel with Sequest DSV. So
well,
I was
yeah,
going
but
to ask
that
you
was
about
same
that.
with that. Yeah, but that happened with that, didn't it? First season of Sequest, it was quite environmental.
Right,
and,
yeah.
You
That's
know,
what
they
it's all
came
about.
across like the odd weird thing, like a ghost or they met aliens once, but they went about it in a very sort of clever way.
Yeah.
And then season 2 came, and with it, they just lost the plot. It with all this weird shit going on.
Owen Allen
we loved it.
But Owen Allen was the producer in the entire duration of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. So it's surprising that if he had more of a mature attitude to the first season, that he decided to make it more of a generic monster alien of the week kind of thing and lose some of the quality in the writing. Maybe that's why it's not so well known as some of the other shows that we've been talking about, which is why perhaps I'm not so...
I don't know. Voice of Bottom, I'd say one of his biggest. It outlasted the others.
Do you think? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean,
it lasted what?
Time Tunnel. Yeah, Time Tunnel was only 1 season.
Yeah, Land at Giants 2 seasons.
That was 2. Yeah, that was 2.
I think Lost in Space were 3 or 4.
Yeah, I never got into Lost in Space. The original. I like the remake of Lost in Space, but I didn't like the original.
Yeah, I preferred remake.
But yeah,
I love the thing of I liked Admiral Nelson. I liked the guy that played Captain Crane. I did like the crew. There's a lot I love about this series.
Yeah.
There really is, because it's. I mean, I tune into episodes even now because the episodes are so batshit crazy. I mean, do you know what I mean? They're just you sit there and oh, for God's sake, you know. And it's the classic series. I mean, it lasted 4 seasons. There's over 100 episodes.
There was.
So it was a big hit.
Well, David Hedison played the captain, and of course, I remember him very well for being in the original version of The Fly. Oh no, The Fly is the one I remember him from.
Was he in The Fly?
Yeah, he was the one that ended up as having his head displaced, wasn't it?
Oh, was that?
That was him. That's what I remember him from. Of course, he was.
I thought that was Vincent Price in Fly.
Vincent Price was the brother.
Oh, right.
Robert.
Okay.
It was Robert, and it was I think he was the brother of the guy that played the Fly. I love the original Fly. I prefer the remake.
So that's David Ellison on the web with the spiders coming to
but you see his head, but he's looking terrified as the spider.
It freaked me out.
That was him.
As a kid. That
was one of the most terrifying things I saw.
Yeah, it
was
was for me.
Yeah,
it was for me.
The way he was screaming, and you saw him, and he sort of like his face was sort of white and had a web over it, and it was like slightly distorted, even though, and it was really, really frightening. And that was him. That was David Hedison.
Especially for that time.
Yeah, that was really ahead of its time. So that's why, and of course, I do remember him from being on James Bond as that American.
I think he were in Bond twice. Actually, as Felix Leiter.
Felix, that's his name. I was trying to think of this character.
He were in the one with Timothy Dalton.
Was he? Oh, I didn't know. I thought he was only in the ones with Sean Connery.
You know where there's Sanchez.
Oh, okay.
Kills his wife. That's him, yeah.
Felix's character was there's different actor play. He's been in a more recent one, Felix. But yeah, and I'm going to talk about the original Felix. But yeah, he might have been in Live and Let Die, actually. I can't remember. Anyway,
what's this? Richard.
Hang on, I'm getting it up.
Admiral Nelson.
Richard Basehart.
Richard Basehart. Well, he's an established global actor. He was like a big movie star, eh?
He was. Exactly.
His voice. He's like, because you look at his voice, he's got one of them voices like James Mason.
Yeah, which really sort of stands out.
You know, he does loads of like documentary voice.
Yep.
But he had an amazing career, did Richard Basehart. Plus, he's the voice for Knight Rider as well at the beginning. He is Milton Knight. Yeah.
Oh, he's the one that does the
Who
narration.
created
of the
Knight
opening
Rider of the
titles.
car? Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now, that's something I've learned.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But Admiral Harriman Nelson, the scientific genius who created a ridiculous device to defeat the week's alien effect. And the sound effects were just insane. You know, the sound effects. You know,
I love those
the voice
cheesy
of
sound
Bob.
effects.
Yeah. I love the six. And when the aliens teleport, it's a big puff of smoke. They always teleport, or it's like they pause the camera and start again and vanish
And
very
they'll
quick.
bing like that. Like, yeah. Well, you think,
Yeah,
you know,
brilliant.
No,
You
no.
know.
I mean,
I do. Yeah, I'm a fan. For me, it's the best Irwin Allen one out of the other three.
oh, I don't know. I like the time tunnel. I thought the time tunnel.
I have to say, I do put time tunnel I put on the same level, and I have a very interesting theory as well.
Yeah, go on. If you're, I know you're struggling at the moment. So, what's your theory?
My theory is that all this is set in the same universe. And I will
Okay,
tell you
so yeah, go for it. What's the link?
why. The time tunnel, Project TikTok, were built in the late 60s, right?
Yeah.
Admiral Harriman Nelson is like one of America's greatest scientific geniuses. Plus, he has access to all top secret stuff. He will have worked on Project TikTok. He will know about it. And in 1980, when the spin drift sets off from an airport and gets that is in the same world as Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And in the year 1999 or 1990, when the Jupiter 2 sets off, I bet Admiral Nelson works on that project. I believe that Lost in Space, Land of the Giants, and Time Tunnel, and they're all connected. It's all set in the same universe. I mean, you can take it apart, but I think it's all set in the same world. I think it's all connected. I can't hear you. You've gone quiet. I don't know what's going on.
Hang on, let's just try again.
I can hear you now. Yes.
I don't know what that was. That was I
Right.
just maybe the lead was slightly out of the actual USB. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man, that happens to me. That leads.
Yeah, I was leaning back.
Quite annoying. Doesn't it?
It is annoying. It's my new setup. But you used to say that about UFO and Space 1999, didn't you? You used to say that they were linked up as well, didn't you?
Well, it is the same universe. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So it could well be that.
But
Irwin
Project TikTok, I reckon Admiral Nelson works on Project TikTok.
Okay.
He was one of the founders of it. He also designed the technology from Project TikTok. Part of it went into the Jupiter to fly at light speeds into space.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Well.
That is my theory.
So, how did the series end? How did it sort of culminate? I mean, you said that you didn't get to the end. Is that right?
Well, I've sort of seen the end. I think well, it just ended up with another ridiculous threat, and they just went off.
Was it like Star Trek's Turnabout Intruder, kind of like just an ordinary standalone episode?
Well,
the last
they
episode?
just carried on doing what they were doing. I mean, it's there's 100 and some episodes where this submarine gets attacked by everything every week, and they want to use that submarine to conquer the world. I mean, the way that submarine shakes about, everybody would be dead.
Red Dwarf.
Have you seen the episode when they're all shaking about?
Well, they
And
just go
another
like
thing-
that, and they go like that, and then they
Yeah,
go
but
like that.
you're in a submarine. How much does it weigh? 60,000 tons or something? You know, and then it's shaking. It's like 200-300 foot long or whatever, and then it's shaking around like you're gonna be splattered all over bloody windscreen, aren't you?
Yeah, but you could say that about Star Trek, but they say that they've got inertial.
Yeah, but they have
dampers.
inertial dampers.
Exactly, you know that. You know, I know exactly. I know. I'm just.
You know, but
Yeah.
it's. I mean, it's like when they're having a punch up. There's always with Irwin Allen when you go flying into a computer bank.
Yeah.
Sparks come out all over all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got an electric room. It's where all circuits are, and if there's a punch up in that submarine's spinning around everywhere, it doesn't like you. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I don't.
But I love it. I love Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. It's a beautiful submarine. It's
But
wonderful.
I saw the Lobster Man, and
that, yeah. Go on.
so basically, this is character, and he comes from space. I know that, and he gets on the submarine, and all they just need to do in the episode is try to shoot him, and then he gets up, and then he talks for a while, and they sort of dismiss it, and then they sort of talk in a civil manner, and then he's trying to get like these power rods or something from engineering. And then they shoot him again, and then it was terrible. It was just a complete.
I can't tell you about it.
It was awful.
But it's like, why would a fucking lobster man land on their submarine and want their nuclear power rods when he's got a fucking spaceship?
Yeah, I did. It was bizarre.
Do you know what I mean?
That was really bizarre episode.
I love it when when it opened. You know, when that pointless little pod it were in, it opened and it got out, and I love the crew's reaction. Like they're really freaking out. Like, you're freaking out, man. You're seeing this shit every week.
But you get aliens a lot, is what you're saying. Aliens were quite common in the series.
It is ridiculous. I mean, not just aliens. I mean, there's a guy at Time Travels, and he built a watch, and he just time travels in, and he steals the submarine, and he does like cruel things to them all with his time travel watch.
What sort of things does he do?
Well, it's like Admiral Nelson suddenly in a room, nobody's on board the ship because he's teleporting them all out of time or whatever. Then he's like having psychological issues and all this, and then he takes the submarine back to American independence because he wants to conquer America with fucking submarine.
Oh.
And he's like, all he's done is just invent a watch, but he needs a power source. He needs the reactor on board.
So the same thing that like the Lobster Man was after the stuff on the power source.
Yeah. I mean, you travelled halfway across the fucking.
So everybody's after the power source and those. Okay.
Well, it seems to be like a lot of the alien invasion thing. I mean, there's one where they do stop alien invasions. That there's one where like there's an island full of UFOs and they stop that, or dinosaur monsters. I mean, there's one where you get the mad scientist that grows big ridiculous monster things, and there's one where this fella grows like really tall, and he's got the fucking sea view in his arms, and he's all flying about. It's underwater like that, breathing like he's grown this big like monster man. He's like, no, yes, right, like that, right, and sea view's letting off electricity. And this guy, well, just snap the fucking thing, do you know what I mean? And it's this same thing like the android invasion one's hilarious.
I will see all these. Like I said, with everything else we've been doing, I've not had a chance.
I'd have a few beers if I.
Yeah. I think it's all right with a few beers. Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look, we've got the usual Zoom pause coming up now, so we're going to just come out for a second, and then I'm going to ask you your final thoughts on Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea. So we'll be right back. Right, so we're back. Martin, so what in the end, how would you think that Voyage of the Bottom of the Sea will be viewed by people, and are you pleased with what it is for what it is?
I grew up on it as a kid, so it was it was out at prime time television when I was growing up, once a week.
I think when I saw it, it was on Channel 4, like on Sunday mornings about midday. I know that wasn't the first showing, though.
That's when I caught. I remembered it as a kid, but I was about 4.
Okay, yeah.
And it was like, it was on about 7 o'clock, and you were probably going, it was just there. But then Channel 4 started showing it
all the Urban Islands. Yeah, they showed all those series. That's how I got into them.
Pretty crazy, really, because my family got right into it. Mother thought it was hilarious.
Yeah.
They used to
even though it didn't mean to be hilarious. Yeah, it was. It was like late morning.
I remember my entire family, because I used to go visit them on a Sunday, and I'd spend the day around there, and it was on. We'd all watch it together, and it was fucking insane. And my family loved it, and it were a bit of a thing for a couple of years. on
Yeah.
a Sunday. We all
Yeah.
watched it together.
Absolutely.
So I've got nothing but good memories from it.
Yeah, I
For
need
me,
to see it a bit more.
Yeah.
It's one of those series which I have seen. Like I said, I do remember the Robert Duvall one once you started talking about it.
Yep.
And of course, I have seen The Lobster Man, which is not obviously the best example.
Yeah,
But I can
David
see-
Hedison wasn't happy with that.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm not surprised, quite frankly.
Yeah,
But I'm glad that, and I still think it's a precursor to Sequest as well. I think Sequest DSV, whatever it was, because it had a different. Was it Sequest then Sequest DSV, or was it always Sequest DSV?
it was Sequest DSV, and then it was I
So
mean,
it's a
they
different
lost
name,
the
didn't it?
plot with that, didn't they? Roy Scheider, he were on Virgin. He walked out, didn't he?
Yeah, and then you had Michael Ironside, and that's it. I remember
Yeah,
that.
he
Yeah,
said
I
they
remember that.
turned it into Star Trek Under the Sea.
Yeah, but that's what I thought of it when I watched it already.
Yeah, well, I did.
You know,
And then we got Sequest. They only made 13 episodes. Sequest 2032.
that's it. That's the one. Did they go to another planet or something?
Yeah, they did. And then
Yeah.
through time difference, they came back 10 years later and they hadn't aged. It
So-
was all a bit.
I was going to ask, but I suppose really the question has already been answered. That really, Voyage was not Star Trek in the sea, because at least when it started, it was before Star Trek.
Yeah,
So-
it was about a submarine that
I
went
wonder
on
then.
secret missions and kept world peace and
But do you think?
investigated unusual things.
Do you think that some of the elements of then A Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea were integrated into Star Trek? And when that was made, maybe some of the influence of it, they were exploring the sea in that series. Star Trek was exploring space.
There is some parallels.
I wonder
I
whether that
suppose.
might have had some influence on the actual Star Trek franchise, or the actual original Star
Well,
Trek series.
what were interesting, I mean, a lot of the big science fiction in America at that time,
Mm.
like there've been a few serious movies, but it's still science fiction was seen as still a bit,
Yeah,
a bit
a bit out of it, but not
yeah,
yeah.
but,
Unique.
and there were money in it, and the more ridiculous it was,
Yeah.
it got an audience. And then Gene Roddenberry's Star Trek came along.
Which of course has some great serious sci-fi story concepts.
That just changed everything.
That's right.
And it were like Voyage were coming to the end. When Star Trek came on, these
It would have
series
been in
were
its
sort of-
season 3 or something by then, wouldn't it?
they were dying out because
Yeah.
people suddenly were watching. Oh, this is serious. This I like this.
Yeah.
This is
But-
really.
But the Twilight Zone was made before Voyage, and that has some
Yeah,
good
well,
serious sci.
yeah,
so
but
it's
that
not.
was-
It's different.
Yeah, but that one of them mystery series, wasn't it? Every week you watch it and something strange had happened to some individual.
But it had good
somewhere.
adult ideas. It wasn't
It
like
did,
farce.
it did.
That's
yeah.
the problem with Voyage, and that's why Voyage perhaps in some ways is not as well highly regarded as some of the other series.
But I think because they were in black and white and all that, and Voyage and Land of the Giants. Well, I've got to admit, I mean, Land of the Giants were quite impressive.
Yeah, I thought so.
With the
I've got
effects,
nothing. I think
I
that was
think
very good for its time.
I have to say, I mean, that was the most expensive production.
Well, we're going to review that in a future episode. But,
Yeah,
Land of the
definitely.
Giants.
But it's when Star Trek came along, because it were in colour as well.
Mm.
It just changed the game, did Star Trek?
So I suppose we should sort of finally ask what you'd rate it out of 10 then, from what you've seen.
Well, because they used to, it were a family thing in the 90s. I fuck this, it's Christmas. I'm gonna get shot down for this. But I don't care. I'm gonna give it fucking 10 out of 10.
Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Because I had to sit through 12 fucking episodes of Andor and Cyril and his mother. Right. Cyril and his mother and Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea.
I'm going to give
I'm
it
sorry.
my limited. What I've seen limited wise, I have seen the Lobster Man, which will knock off some points, but I would at the moment I would give it probably a 7.5 out of 10. I like
I'm
it.
surprised.
I need to see
You
more of it.
surprised me there.
Why is it too high or too low?
Yeah, I think that's very.
I can
that's
see
very
it's.
generous.
I think it's a good concept show.
I do.
I like the era.
Oh, yeah,
I
there
like
is
it
a
for what
lot
it
there.
is. I like it for what it is. So even with the Lobster Man, At the moment,
It's got the flying sub.
Yeah. And,
how cool is
and the Robert Duvall episode I'd forgotten about, but that was good. And I can see it's going to be like Star Trek has some real stinker episodes. All science fiction series.
Spock's brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Spock's brain.
Or I can think of so many episodes from the various Star Trek series where you've had some god awful episodes.
Oh God!
And then you've had some real gems. So I'll give it a quite high rating because I could see that it's it's got a good cast. It's a long-term series.
It made 100 and some episodes, and I do like the cast. I like him.
Yeah, I like the cast. I mean, the cast is really good.
I like Richard Bates. I think he's great. Do you know what's good about Richard Bates? When he gets these like megalomaniacal villains,
he'll have these speeches and stuff, won't he? He'll have his grand speeches.
He sits there behind his desk when there's like villains going, and I'm going to crush you and then take over your planet and destroy. He sat there like he pulls these faces, and it's like, right then, I'm gonna. Well, that's what you think. But I'm gonna end up screwing it up for you. He's not stupid.
No, because he's an admiral as well. He's an admiral.
Yeah. There's episodes where he comes quite ruthless, where he will sacrifice everybody on that ship to keep the peace or protect that planet. He's like that.
Yeah.
So I have to give it a 10 out of 10.
Good for you. Really Why not? Why not? Absolutely.
And I thought 7. I thought very generous from you.
No, that's all right. I mean, like I said, once I've seen more, I've got the feeling it would stay at that level. I don't. I can see. I've seen it enough to know that it's a very good quality show, but it's also got the wacky element, which is why it loses a few points, which is a natural thing. And it's better than Star Wars Andor, which is the biggest compliment I can give, quite frankly, after that series.
Oh, by the way, I'd like to happy birthday, my friend.
Thank you. Yes, the big 50.
I would have sent you a card, but
oh no, don't worry. I got your message on Facebook, so thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Thank you. We're going to be having something to eat and doing something soon. Actually, as soon as I've done this, I'm going to shoot off with the family and do something there. So I wanted to do this anyway, which is good because also having a birthday on the Wednesday is not the best day of the week either. So we're going to sort of like probably do something on the weekend. So, but thank you. Okay. Yeah, 50 is a big one. That red line which I talk about, which I've crossed now. So I mean. Unfortunately, I haven't got an NHS, so that's going to be interesting. So I'll have to see how it goes.
Oh, God, yeah. I've just given up, mate.
Oh, I know. But
I don't even watch the news anymore now.
No, the whole country's falling apart, basically. I mean, you're lucky to find something which isn't on strike at the moment. It's pissing me off, quite frankly. So let's just get to Christmas and bugger off and not worry about it, I think, because life's too short. On that note, I haven't got a lot, but let's go into the Solar One Sci-Fi news. Here we go.
Working.
Solar Sci-Fi
News.
All right, so we've already mentioned this. So Doctor Who has got an interesting time coming up. It's very up in the air. I'm really not sure what to make of the Russell T Davies' second era. But as I already said earlier on in this show, it's only going to be apparently 8 episodes for season 14. Now, Ncuti Gatwa has apparently they have now started filming. The first episode of filming was on the 5th of December, which was only a couple of days ago. So that's certainly interesting. So I would imagine that sooner or later they'll have some external filming where we perhaps could see what the new Doctor's costume is going to be like, which is always an interesting one. And we'll see how it goes from there. Other news I've got is The Mandalorian apparently is going to be starting at the beginning of March, season 3 next year.
Yeah, March 1st, yeah.
Which is good because at one point they were saying because of the Bad Batch series, which is obviously new episodes.
Never got into that, mate.
I've tried as well. I watched several episodes. I got bored. I've given up. So yeah, me neither. So we're funny like that. We're just the same when it comes to these.
I just couldn't get into it. I really did push myself.
Yeah, I just got bothered.
I think by episode 8, I just never went back to it.
No, and I have to admittedly say that I always find it harder to get into animated series anyway. Generally, I just don't have the appeal. Maybe it's because I'm the big 50 today, but I prefer live action stuff. I'm sorry to say. So that's that. What else we got? Lower Decks has been nominated. Star Trek Lower Decks has been nominated for Critics' Choice Awards. There's lots of stuff going on with the two. And bad news! Kirstie Alley has died, who played Savick. I only heard about that yesterday. That was a shock because I still remember her very fondly from Cheers. I was a big fan.
Definitely,
Cheers.
yeah.
She was great in that. I love Cheers, and she was in I think she was in season 7 onwards to the end. And then she, of course, before that, her sort of introduction was in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. I always thought it was a shame.
Who was your favourite Savick, Robin Curtis or her?
I think I like Robin Curtis actually.
I prefer to get. I like.
Oh
Kirstie
dear.
Alley.
I think Kirstie Alley. The problem with Kirstie Alley was that I don't know. I just wish she hadn't left the series. Why did she not return for Star Trek 3 anyway? Do we know why she didn't return? Was it money?
I think it was money. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I asked.
I think Star Trek 3 made. I think that was a Star Trek. I think that was the film that launched her career, wasn't it?
What, Rob? What?
Star Trek 2, wasn't it?
Sorry, 2, yeah.
The film?
Yeah, it was.
The film, I think that launched her career.
It was. It introduced her to that. That was in a big film, which it was, and she was good in that role. So yeah, I think it was, and then of course, like I said, that's why she's well known. And we had this bad news today that she's obviously yesterday she passed away. Yeah. So I was quite surprised about that, and saddened to hear about that. So yeah, there's a few things. What have you got? Anything your end? Anything that you want to share with us?
Oh, they're redoing. We're getting sequels to the new Planet of the Apes trilogy.
Oh, actually, I've got something at the end of this podcast.
They've already got the scripts together for them.
So this is going to be, what is it, like some more movies or?
It's another 3 movies.
Movies?
It's the next step in the trilogy that has just gone.
Wasn't it self-contained at the end of the last trilogy?
Well, they moved to that valley by the river, didn't they, at the end?
I suppose it could have been left open or something.
But don't forget, in the first film, they lost the ship.
Right.
The Icarus, the Liberty. Launched into space, and it was lost in space.
Right.
So I assume that was setting the groundwork for the Taylor character.
Right.
In the full.
Yeah, because we even saw Taylor, didn't we? In the actual in the sequels, we saw a TV shot of him or something, didn't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, we had something with that.
There was a shuttle that launched some type of ship into space.
And that was the link to the original.
And it was lost in deep
space. That's what it was. Yeah. Exactly. I love that. I love that. I would love to see that. I was
sort of in and out with the third one. It didn't have the impact.
How do you compare them to the original 60s version movies?
I thought they stood out. I can get where, well, obviously with the effects in that. I thought they stood out well for this decade.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
but obviously, I'm like you, the originals.
Well, I at the end, I'm going to show something which I came across on YouTube and mixed into my copy of.
Fantastic!
And it's now my copy. It's now my copy of the movie. It's now.
Would you mind if I put that on YouTube?
Yeah. I mean, you can put the clip on, but of course, you're welcome to. I'm going to put it at the end of the show. Actually, yeah, I don't mind. Of course not. Thank you for asking.
Absolutely brilliant.
But
I like it. I love the ship.
Well, the thing is, the ship is not my bit. I mixed in the sounds, and then I mixed in the original. But it was redone. The sound was re-edited, and then I because I got a digital copy of the original movie, I thought, well, sod it, let's just add that to the original. So that's now my copy. I will put that at the end. But I watched the original again with this editing, and Jerry Goldsmith's music is just so good. And I had to say, Planet of the Apes, we have reviewed it, but it's just, even seeing it again, it's just such a solid movie. It's just so good. It really is.
There was a company called Blam Productions, and they got the right. They got the rights for the first 2 films.
Oh, okay.
And I can tell you how the apes got back into the past.
Oh, because it was not. Well, it was the beginning. The end of part 2 was when they went back in time, wasn't it? The second movie.
When Taylor's ship went down,
Yeah.
You remember Landon?
Yeah.
In this book, it's official. It's canon now. There were 2 books, and they're worth reading. And Landon was kept somewhere else in the Ape City.
Oh.
And do you remember the scientist ape in the 3rd movie?
Yes, the one that got killed at the beginning. Yes.
The genius one.
Yeah.
Well, he was sent in to interrogate Landon.
Oh, because of course, Landon, we saw he had his brain worked upon.
Yeah, well, he's still alive. Somewhere in that film, he's in another room. And that Dr. Cornelius is talking to him. And Landon tells him, we came down in this ship.
Yeah.
And we come, because they don't know where exactly he is. And what happens is, Cornelius, not Cornelius, I forgot the genius ape's name.
Yeah, the one from, yeah.
He goes to Zayas and he gets an expedition to go out to Forbidden Zone.
The Forbidden Zone, they find it.
But he don't tell Zayas the full story.
Oh.
He signs the documents and he thinks he's off because he's a genius at their level.
Yeah.
And him and a load of chimpanzees go out there and he's invented an aqualung scuba gear. And they go under the water. Now the ship, it didn't fully sink. There was currents pushed it along. It got stuck on like a reef.
Oh, okay.
It sort of got wedged, and they found the ship, and they bring it up.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow.
And the technology's way beyond all of them. And when they're out there all this is going on in Ape City with General Ursus, and there's something out there. They say something else shooting through the night sky. And when in the 2nd movie, when Taylor's burying the body of that in the 2nd movie, not Taylor, Brent.
No, you mean Brent?
Brent.
Yeah.
Brent. When he's buried, there's 2 apes behind one of the rocks watching him.
Oh, okay.
And what happens is now they drive the ship out, and the ship's got a self-repair system. But what they do is there's a manual on board, and the clever ape, he starts figuring certain things out.
Right.
And they take things from Brent's ship.
Oh, when they put it in the other one.
They put it in other ones.
And that's how they get it going.
The ship starts to become operational.
Yeah, it's got a self
and then obviously the explosion happens, and they get on board. But it's like the wheels. It launches off as the planet goes up. That is how it is done. That's the bit.
Well, they say that in the 3rd one. They say that they saw the Earth sort of like turning to fire as they were leaving.
Yeah, because the ship, they had no control. The ship, when they sorted it out, the ship, it launched it automatically. It launched itself. You know, and that's what happened. Now, apparently there's meant to be a star drive in orbit.
Oh, okay.
Whether we don't know, but that is what happened in these 2 books. I mean, there's a lot more because there's all conspiracy. It's called Conspiracy of Planet 8. It's really good. I got hold of the book, but it's official, and that's how. Because everybody else said, "Well, how did they get the ship and that?"
I didn't mind it. I mean, I just thought
But that was the big question. But they wrote a book and they answered it all. And I thought they did a very good job.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'd like to. And of course, then when you see the 3rd movie, you can take that on board once you've seen it.
Yeah, well, it's like the bit in between the movies, yeah.
Well, another thing we should review soon is Beneath the Planet of the Apes, the 2nd Planet of the Apes movie. I'd like to do that.
Haven't we?
No, just done the first one.
We've done the 3rd one, haven't we?
No, we've only done the 1st. We've only done one. That's all we've done.
I thought we'd...
No.
Right,
so we've got a few things to review.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, because we need to...
Shall
We've
we
done
do
the
that one
TV
next
series.
week? No, we haven't done the TV series either.
Have we?
No, we've talked about it. We've not done a specific...
Oh,
Let's do... Why don't we do Beneath the Planet of the Apes next week, as we've talked about it? And then we'll do Black Mirror the week after.
Yeah, all right.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Because that's such a good movie, and I'd love to... Yeah, after seeing
Bring
the first
me out
one,
that,
Yeah.
I saw that on BBC.
Glory to the
First time
bomb.
on TV.
Glory to the bomb and to the holy fallout. Bless us all. And they took them out. It's such a good. I can't.
I was a kid. I sat and watched that with my family Saturday night. We were on first time ever on TV.
Yeah.
And I were all excited about it. And then an hour into it, there were all these people worshipping a nuke, and they were I was like,
American
what's
bomb.
going on?
I can't. Yeah. Next week. That's such a good movie.
Yeah.
Oh, any other news before we shoot off?
Marvel. There's been some interesting things with Marvel.
Oh, go for it. What's happening there, end?
Well, I think we're moving into season 5 and 6 now.
Yes, I know they've got these different segments and stuff.
It's the going back. There's been a lot of politics going on. A lot of the TV stuff's failed.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it's actually a lot of people are saying they've lost the plot. Yeah, I've heard about it.
People, and this year's film's probably one decent film out of the whole lot.
Which one?
So that'll have been Spider-Man with the other two actors.
Yeah, I saw that. I like that. I've not seen.
That was that was it. The rest you just put down. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to see the new Black Panther one. But you've seen that, haven't you? That was a recent one.
I mean, it's
all right.
It's too long.
Oh, is it? Oh,
It's up 3 hours.
I have to say, I've not caught up. The only one I've seen this year is the Spider-Man one. I need to. I'm a few behind. So
to be honest, I won't bother.
Well, no, but you're the ones that got me to watch them in the first place.
You know, I mean, they're all right. I mean, it's what the problem is. A lot of Marvel, they were on the ball for a long time with amazing films, and now it's been like it's oversaturation of everything now.
Yeah, but that's what happens.
And people, I mean, they're just switching it off. I mean, I did like She-Hulk. I did.
No, I didn't like that. I know. I know. I should have given it more of a chance, but I just don't know.
But it got panned. It did.
Yeah, but you liked it though. So I mean, obviously, it's got the audience.
It's about what you like in it.
Yeah.
But Kevin Feige that runs it all. Apparently, they're going back to quality, and they're dropping the quantity.
Well, that might be what's needed. Then they can compensate for the oversaturation and get it back on track.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to see the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas.
I've heard that. I've seen the clip of it. I saw the trailer for it.
Apparently, it's really good. I mean, it'd be amazing if it turned up on the screen, wouldn't it? Really. I mean, it's Christmas, isn't it? You know, I'd turn it on and
Paul Daniels, yeah.
It would just
like magic.
There,
it's magic.
Yeah, it would just there.
Well, I'm sure that hopefully, if there's someone like Paul Daniels who can make these things magically appear on your screen, then maybe you'll find that person and they'll help you out.
Yes.
Okay, Martin.
So that's it, really. I don't think there's much.
No, I've got nothing else. Like I said, it's a bit of a void now for new material because there's not any live-action Star Trek now until the beginning of February, I think it is. There's no new Star Wars till the beginning of March. The only thing I've already mentioned last week is potentially seeing is the new Avatar movie, but it's so long since the last one that I think that might damage it because it's been like 10 years, which is a really long gap, which is a bit ridiculous for a movie. So I'll look out for anything new. But
are you going to say that? Are you?
I don't know. I might do. I'm not sure. I haven't decided yet. Depends if
I'm waiting for your opinion on that. I'm going to wait until you've seen it because.
Yeah, I'm not promising. I'm not definitely going to see it. I'm considering seeing it, but I like. I know you're not a big fan of the original one, which is fair enough.
No, I did. Look, I said this last week. I thought that when I first saw it, I thought it was a special effect. It was the line of something new.
It was a visual aspect rather than a storyline. Yeah, I understand that
film.
I can get that.
But the story, there was nothing really to it for me. You know, I think he's had his time. I really do. I mean, I think I just can't see him doing anything amazing, really. No, Cameron, no.
Well, I like his stuff, but as you say, I don't know. Let's just see what happens, won't we? I mean, who knows? All right, Martin. Well, on that note, I think I'm just about done. So I'm going to leave with this only on YouTube. If it's the audio, then I'm sorry, it's just going to have to fade out. Sorry, people, but it's not. You're not going to get it on the audio. This is the Planet Apes thing. I borrowed off YouTube and then I put it into my copy of the film. This is a slight edit from the original YouTube clip. The sound's been re-edited and you can see where it fades in. And if you watch it, you won't be able to tell where it was joined from the original movie. I love doing stuff like this from time to time and I liked it so much I thought I'm going to keep it. So enjoy this. And then next week we are back again with Planet of the Apes, the second original movie. And I really want to get your perspective on this one because this is a classic. So, Martin, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. And live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.